TPMNation.com.
And we have a call.
Grappling with
Turn down your radio, please. Hey, who's this?
Matt?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Mike Doyle.
Mike Doyle, how are you, sir?
Good. Can you hear me?
I can now, yeah. For a second I couldn't. You were cutting in and out, but
okay.
I can hear you now,
I have trouble with my Bluetooth.
Okay, well, wherever you are right now, don't move.
I'd love to see you do a show sometime. I'd love to see you do a show on the current Congress and how much work they're getting done for the people of this country versus their inevitable hunt to try to figure out something illegal on Donald Trump. Because we just spent a year and a half of doing nothing but you guys everybody warned us. The fake news, will you wait? It's Robert Mueller, and he's got the best team of Democratic guys. They're going to crush Trump. He's going to jail.
I don't know why
impeachment.
Yeah, Mike,
nothing.
I don't know why you lump me in with that. I mean, we have this conversation every time you call. You lump me in with, with the rest of the news and say, oh, you guys all warned us and everything. So we've talked about this before, but I'll say it again. I have said all along that I was skeptical that Trump directly colluded with the Russians. I've said it a million times because I don't believe he ever wanted to be president. So I don't know why he himself would be colluding with the Russians. And I've said that over and over again. But every time you call,
now it's on to the next thing.
But Mike, every time you call,
believe Robert Mueller.
Every time you
now
call,
we don't believe the Attorney General, and now we want this, that, and the next thing, and they're just doing whatever they can to hide the whole Hillary.
You don't want to see the report?
The whole shooting match that started this whole mess.
Mike, we talked about it before.
Nothing's getting done for the people of this country. That's the problem.
Nothing's getting.
The Democrats just don't want to do anything in Congress. They just want to look to try to find a problem with Donald Trump.
Well, Mike,
and let me tell you why I
thought
wrapped
you wanted
you into
to.
this a little bit.
I thought. Hang on, Mike. Can we have a conversation? Mike, let me talk.
I heard you talking about the story about.
Will you let me talk a little bit, Mike?
Donald Trump said at the border, "Don't listen."
I'm just going to let you talk.
Don't listen. Don't let judges stand in your way. And then I think at some point you said he even said that you have a direct line to the president. The gentleman, that question came up last night, and a guy on TV said a Border Patrol guy had mentioned to them that it's the courts that's stopping us. And making a joke, Donald Trump in jest just said, "Oh, you're going to let them stop you?" Like that. That's all it was. And supposedly that's one story. Now that's gotten blown up into he's telling people on the border to not listen to the court system because it's just, you guys are unbelievable. You think he really wants to separate people at the border?
Mike, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna try. Okay. Oh wow. I get to actually answer you this time. Okay, once again, Mike, you constantly take what I say and try to lump me in with everybody else. I sat here and went over that, and then what did I say? I want to know exactly what Trump said because I'm skeptical because there's no video of what he said, and I even gave a previous example about how sometimes his words are taken out of context, and yes, there are people in the media who occasionally twist what he says to make him look bad, and I even gave a previous example of that. So I don't know how you listen to my show and then you call in. Mike, wait, hang on. Let me finish that damn. The problem is I put it out there.
Yeah. Do you have any proof that was said?
Mike, you don't listen.
You know how many people listen to your show and now have gone down the road that, you know what I heard today on Matt Connarton?
Jesus Christ, Mike.
Donald Trump told the people on the border not to listen to judges.
You don't listen to what I say. You don't listen to what I say. You hear half of what I say. I talked about it. It's already in the media, Mike. I talked about it, and I halfway defended the guy. And I said, I don't know if he actually said this, and I even said he might have been.
That at the end.
So what is the problem then? So why are you calling me up? So why are you calling me up and saying, well, now you're putting this out here? I'm actually defending the guy, and you're calling me up and saying.
My original question is, could you do a show sometime on just how much the Democratic Congress is getting done? And things that they're doing to better this country.
I got to be honest.
That was my original premise.
Well, I don't really take requests, but I got to be.
I'd like to hear a show about that sometime.
As a civil libertarian, I don't necessarily want Congress doing a whole lot. You know, So I don't know what I don't know what you're looking for them to be doing.
That's what we all want. You're more of a Republican than you think. We all want them out of our lives.
I'm an independent, dude.
We don't want them.
I'm not a Democrat. I say it all the time. I'm an independent.
That's what you say, but anyway, it is what it is.
When's the last time I voted for a Democrat? 2008.
Yeah. I know. Good stimulus. Good show, though, as usual.
You know, Mike, I like talking to you, but I wish when you call, you'd let me respond to things without filibustering. You know?
Okay. No problem.
Because I genuinely like talking to you, dude, but I get frustrated when you say something and then I try to respond to it and you just keep going on to the next thing, which is a rhetorical strategy. I understand. You know, you make your point and then you're already on to the next subject before you give me a chance to respond to anything that you said. And believe me, you're not the only one who does that. I mean, you know, you've seen John Hopwood in here, but I actually like you and enjoy talking to you and would like to have a conversation. And I get frustrated when you do that filibustering thing. Take a breath.
Right. I won't do it. I'll try not. I don't do it advertently. Believe me.
Well, I try,
I get frustrated listening to all the things that are going well in this country right now.
Yeah.
I mean, right across the board. And again, I'm not going to filibuster, but you never talk. You rarely talk about them. Most of these shows don't talk about them. How good everything is for everybody. Things are going pretty well right now.
I've talked about it a million times.
But all we talk about is tax returns and Russian probes and.
I haven't talked about the tax return issue at all. And I've said I've said many times on the show, the economy's great, and if the economy continues to be great, I think Trump will win re-election. I say it all the time.
Oh, I do too. I don't think that's an issue.
That's been my standard prediction. But you don't necessarily hear the whole 2 hours of the show. But I get frustrated, Mike, because you call and you throw this thing at me like I'm CNN. Not that I think CNN is as bad as you think it is, but you know what I mean? You lump me in with everybody else, and I just don't think it's fair. But then when I try to defend myself, you just keep going. And I try to understand. I mean, I know sometimes when you're on the phone and you're calling a radio show, you can't necessarily hear everything I'm saying, but I just need you to slow down a little bit because I don't think it's fair to just, you call and you throw this stuff at me.
You don't have to give me I got it. You only have to tell me once.
What?
I won't do it again.
I wish I
get frustrated and sometimes I ramble on. That's all.
I wish you would come in again sometime and hang out with me during the show.
I'd love to.
Because it's much easier to talk
come in
and
have
person.
Brett on the line and just have a good discussion about what's going on in the world and just the simple stuff,
No, I really, because I enjoyed that. And like I said, I like talking with you. And it is much easier to do it in person because in person, when you can see the person and you're not on the phone, it's just, I'm not trying to discourage you from calling. I'm just saying.
You can just give me the finger and tell me to shut up. Be a lot easier.
No, I was very,
right, man, sorry about that. I didn't mean to ramble on. Good show as usual.
That's all right, Mike. All right. Thank you for the call. All right. Bye-bye. No, I try to be patient because I know that people call, like I had that Jeff Cassell had to apologize to me once because I got really frustrated with him because he called and he just kept talking and and I couldn't get in, but it's like the thing I get frustrated with Mike about is, and like I said, I like Mike and I want him to keep calling and I want, anybody who wants to call, but when somebody calls and they just talk and it's like, well, wait a minute, let me respond to that. I want to have a conversation. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I genuinely like talking to him. I think Mike's a great guy. He's probably going to be on the morning show. I think he usually goes on the morning show on Fridays, and he's great on the radio and everything. But, Michael Alber, put in the Facebook live chat in quotes, "you people." Yeah, well, that's the thing. And I assume Michael is referring to what Mike Doyle says when he calls and he says, you people just talk about this and all you want to do is rag on Trump and this and that. And, and it's like, don't lump me in with everybody else because that's not fair. Do I spend a lot of time ragging on Trump? Yes, I do. I also try to give him credit where I think it's due. I certainly talk about, how good the economy is. I've made my prediction many times on the show. I say all the time, and I still really believe it. If Trump survives the Mueller probe, and it looks like he has, and if the economy continues to be strong, I think he's a lock for winning re-election. I know Fred disagrees with me on that. I think Fred thinks Trump's going to lose. I actually don't because. Like I always say, too, all Trump has to do is convince everybody who voted for him the first time to vote for him again, and they most likely will. Fred says, here, Mike, here is a list of what they have done. So Fred, Mike won't see it, Fred. Mike is, if I'm not mistaken, Mike is not on Facebook, so he won't even see this. But that's the other thing too. It's like when somebody says to me, you know, like, let me put it this way. I'm not someone who thinks a quote unquote productive Congress is necessarily a good thing. It depends on what they're doing. If they're doing good things, great. But oftentimes, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but politicians, lawmakers, elected officials, sometimes they do a lot of things that aren't good. Now, you can take each individual thing, and depending on how you feel about it ideologically, and or how you might feel about that specific issue, you might, opinions will vary on whether it's a good thing or a bad thing or a neutral thing or whatever. But I'm not necessarily, like, I'm someone who thinks that sometimes gridlock is actually all right. Because sometimes when there's gridlock, maybe there are things that should be getting done that aren't getting done, but also maybe there are things that shouldn't be getting done that aren't getting done either. If there's, if you have enough people in office who have some pretty nefarious ideas. So for me, when somebody talks about a productive Congress or an unproductive Congress, it's like, that's not really a talking point that I'm interested in. I don't care if Congress is productive or unproductive. I care about, if they're barely doing anything, what are the few things that they are getting done? Or if they are doing a lot, what are those things, and in what ways are they screwing us over, because I do have a strong libertarian streak in me, and I don't, I don't necessarily think that Congress doing a ton of things, is a great thing. But Fred did post this link for anyone else who wants to see it. Like I said, Mike Doyle won't see it. He's not on Facebook. But that's quite a list. I mean, by the way, I mean, I do think typically in a typical Congress, I think Congress generally does a lot of stuff that we just don't notice. There's a lot of bills are passed that either, nobody in the mainstream media is going to talk about because it's just not particularly interesting to talk about some bills, or, some things that aren't, just are kind of mundane or whatever, aren't, the big sexy issues. Or plus, there's only so much that the mainstream media can cover at any one time before Americans' attention spans begin to kind of fail them. So anyway. But where were we? I kind of lost where we were. Oh, I was talking about I was doing the transgender thing, wasn't I? Or were we on this other thing? Oh, the family separation. Yeah, that's what it was. It was like, because not to keep going back to it, but, I try to be very fair, and I said, because this is the thing that, one of the things Mike wanted to talk about. I said, I don't know if Trump actually said this. I don't know if it was taken the wrong way. I don't know if he was making a joke. Like, I said that. I did, and then Mike says, well, you put it out there. Well, it's already out there, dude. How do you think I'm seeing it? I'm the one trying to be fair to the guy. I'm not going to be Fox News and go the other way and defend him, but I'm trying to be fair. And I think I am fair. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
It's your old pal, Fred.
Fred Bonig from thedailyripple.org. How are you, sir?
I love your show because the best part of your show is Mike Doyle for me. I gotta tell you, it gives me the most entertainment.
You don't think I was too hard on him, do you?
No, I'm a radio guy like you. I get it. I mean, yeah. I've given you a hard time about letting people just ramble on without a pause to let you do your show.
Yeah. Well, there was a specific. There was a specific individual. I remember you had made a comment to me about. We'll just.
Yeah, well, that's okay. No, it's not. And I'm just saying sometimes it's okay to just say, look, this is a conversation, not a monologue.
It was John Hopwood, by the way, for anyone who's wondering.
But John and I, we love each other at the same time as we both disagree with each other a lot.
Oh, I know. Well, you know what's funny though is you and he ideologically match up much closer than you might think, but he sometimes he just likes to be very contrary. But although
I know he likes to do radio.
Although on
he knows you need a foil
on immigration, though, I think he is genuinely a conservative. But other than that, I think he probably matches up with you ideologically pretty closely. But
well, on the transgender thing, what I was going to say is we have a writer that works for us, Bryn Tannehill, and she has a new book out. Everything you wanted to know about trans, but was afraid to ask. It's on the Daily Ripple. It's quite a thick book, and I just find that I'm glad that they're going to allow the people that are currently serving. There's Navy SEALs that were transgender. I mean, this is not about who's tough and who's not and who's brilliant. I've met so many transgender people now just from our being in Washington and being at all these different events. And they're all great people. They're all hardworking. They're all. I wouldn't want to get in a fist fight with any of them.
Right.
And, but the thing is, this is all about Trump thinking that because he needs the evangelical vote.
Oh yeah.
So this is one of the things he's promised them. And that's why he's trying to do this. It doesn't. Rand has done the studies on this. It doesn't change anything. Whether they're transgender or not. I mean, there's already been all the studies on it, but they're just doing it so that because he needs the votes. Because without the evangelical vote, he's not getting elected.
Well, you know what's I was just going to say, Fred. You know what's funny about this is I had actually forgotten about this for a long time because Trump, he made that tweet, which was a couple of years ago now. It just seemed to come out of nowhere. I think it was on a Friday afternoon. I think we were going into the weekend. And then, and then it sounded like
to distract about some other news story.
Exactly. And then it sounded like Mattis was kind of slow walking the whole thing because he was blindsided by it. No one had warned. I don't think he told anybody. I think he just did this. And then I just kind of stopped hearing about it and stopped reading about it. And then for a long time, I thought it was a dead issue. And I thought they had just, I thought the administration maybe had kind of forgotten about it, but well, apparently not.
It's another case of white male. I'm afraid of anything that is not white male. I mean, they're afraid of homophobic craziness. I think somebody said it best the other day. They said, I know it was Buttigieg. He said, look, to Pence, he said, look, don't take it up with me. Take it up with my God. I didn't make me the way I am.
Ooh, that's a good line. That's good. I like that.
I'm just being me. And he said, at one point in his life, he would have done anything to not be gay.
Yeah.
But now he's like, he's accepted it. And I mean, he's married. I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
Again, it's this crazy religious belief system that has nothing to do with Jesus. It has nothing to do with the teachings of love. It's about fear and all that. It's just sad.
Yeah. No,
that's why I like that
agree.
song, "Talking Leviticus Blues." I think that would be. That's why I like it because it's exactly right.
I opened with that yesterday. Yeah.
Right, and it is. It's people believe, this book that they believe in, but they only believe in the choice parts that they want to use for their argument.
Right, exactly. I know. Well, and they're very hyper-focused on that one thing, too. They're so focused on that one thing. It's incredible. It's like they really...
Shakespeare had something to say about that. He said, methinks he protests too much.
Yes.
Well, I'll let you go, but I'm sure glad Mike called in. I always enjoy what he does. It makes me smile to realize I had a conversation with a woman today at the compost place, and she said, well, I try to win over these Trump people. I said, no, don't do that. They can believe whatever they want. You're not going to change them. I said, you're never going to change them. That's because of the people that they are.
Ooh,
I said,
wait. Well, no, go ahead and finish what you were going to say, but then I just have something to counter that with. But go ahead.
Well, I say, they have to have an epiphany in their own life to change those kind of things. So your argument of logic or that is not likely to change that at all. But there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of young voters who have no idea. I just say go out and register to vote.
Yeah.
Vote.org. Get these kids to register. You outnumber them. They can believe what they want. You just got to outnumber them.
Well, what I was going to point out though, because to be honest, Fred, I think you're broadly correct on that, but because we have a listener who is an exception to what you were talking about, I do just want to point this out and give her props. Rhonda Ostrowitz Favero, you may have noticed her in the Facebook live chat. She was, I forget if it was yesterday or the day before, she was in there and she was talking about how she voted for Trump. She was a Trump supporter, but she has come to regret that. And is no longer on the Trump train. So there are.
What was the thing that made her regret it? That's what you need to find out. What was the thing that changed her mind?
Yeah,
and it probably was an epiphany that it directly affected her life.
She did make a comment, and Rhonda, if you're still in there, feel free to address that now. But she did make a comment about, she didn't want a dictator. She felt that Trump was behaving like a dictator, and that's not what she voted for. But Rhonda, feel free to expand on that if you're still in there. But yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I'll let you go, but thank you for another great show.
Oh, thank you for the call, Fred. Appreciate it very much.
All right. Talk to you soon, boss.
All right. Take care, man. Bye-bye. All right. That was the great Fred Bonig from the dailyripple.org. Hello to my old friend Bill Stephanitis, who joins us in the Facebook live chat. I worked with Bill many, many years ago. Okay. Yeah. Rhonda says that's it, Matt. Yeah. The dictator thing. Let's see. We are almost out of time. So I might play that. How long is this song? Oh yeah, Rhonda had sent this song called the DEA song by Ken McKim. So we'll play that in a moment. I'm anxious to hear it. Rhonda had also commented, cherry pickers, referring to people who people cherry pick what I've always said about organized religion and Christianity specifically is it's more political than spiritual, right? People cherry pick what they want out of the Bible to suit their ideological proclivities. So, if you're if you're a conservative and you're really freaked out by the idea that there's actually gay people in the world, well, hey, there's something in the Bible for you. Right there in Leviticus, you can just cherry pick that one thing. And like I said, they're very hyper-focused on that one thing. Rhonda also said, many Bills folks don't know about some so unbelievable, such as vegan meals for prisoners. That's referring to what I was talking about earlier about, you don't necessarily always want Congress doing a lot of stuff because not all of it's necessarily going to be great, especially, by the way, if you're a Republican and you've got a Democratic Congress in control, you don't want them to be very productive. And if you're a Democrat and you've got a Republican Congress in control, you don't want them to be very productive. So I don't know that that's necessarily a great barometer how productive Congress is. But so we're going to get out of here with that. Mike Doyle, if you're still listening, I still love you, brother. And I do hope you'll come in again live in the studio with me where we can talk face to face because we did that once before. And I very much enjoyed it. We actually did agree on some things. We disagreed on others, but I thought it was a great conversation. And you're always welcome to call. You just gotta let me get in there a little bit too. That's all.
IPMNation.com.